Linda Ronstadt sure had quite an adventurous sex life. From billionaires to presidential candidates, she dated them all. But the strange thing is she was never able to settle with any one of them. Why? This is the untold crazy sex life of Linda Ronstadt, and the real reason why she never got married. Linda Ronstadt got her start in the mid-60s, which was a very exciting period for folk music and folk rock. That period was also infamous for recreational drug use and psychedelic experimentation. Linda, who was entering adulthood during this period, did not miss out at all on the wave. However, that spirit of experimentation was not just limited to her professional life, but extended to her romantic life as well. In the late 60s and early 70s, the Troubadour nightclub in West Hollywood was a very prominent hotspot for the rising country rock movement. At the time, John Boylan was one of the leading producers of the movement. He was approached by Linda, who asked him to produce her album and put together a backing band. While all this was going on, the two couldn't help but fall in love. Things between Linda and John escalated on both the professional and the romantic level. Professionally, he became her manager, helping her make business decisions that would set her on the path to success. Romantically, they moved in together, hoping theirs was the start of one of the all-time great love stories. Unfortunately for them, romantic success did not follow professional success. The moment they started living together, everything began to fall apart. 50 years after their romantic relationship, Linda opened up about it, finally letting the world know where it all went wrong. According to her, she was quite a needy lover who wanted John to fulfill all her asks. Unfortunately, he just couldn't give as much as she took, and so, her first relationship as a star met a very quick, painful end. In her naivety, she quickly entered another relationship, where history was just waiting to repeat itself. In 1972, Linda started dating rock singer J.D. Souther. In making the jump from dating just a producer to someone who sang as well, Linda found a romantic partner who understood her life a little bit more. That little bit made a world of difference because their romance burned so remarkably bright, so much so that after dating for 2 years, they moved in together. Just as with her romance with John Boylan, Linda and Souther got creatively involved as well. They co-wrote many songs together, and he co-produced her Don't Cry Now album. Together, they made such hits as Faithless Love and Hearts Against the Wind. These songs went a long way to express their strong feelings about their romance in such a wild and changing industry. But unfortunately, such proclamations could not keep them together. In 1974, Linda and JD split up. At this point, Linda began to wise up to her romantic failings, so much so that for her next relationship, she decided to switch things up and try something different. Relationships with singers were just not working out. Why don't I try out comedians? And so she did, and the first of them was Albert Brooks. To say that Albert Brooks was on fire in the 1970s would be an understatement. This young man was winning the hearts of people all over the country through his experimental comedy segments on America's most popular late-night shows. Everyone wanted to be around him for his uncanny ability to make them laugh in any situation. But even though Albert was an expert comedian, he just couldn't crack the fairer sex. Linda got romantically involved with Albert not too long after her split from JD. Albert, who was looking to settle down, sure hoped she'd be the one. But unfortunately for him, Linda just doesn't turn out to be the one. And after 2 years of dating, they split up in 1976. Then something crazy happened. After their breakup, Albert went on record to say that even though Linda thought he was cute, she did not much like his career. This was a downright curious or even crazy statement because Albert was an actor. And after their breakup, Linda went on to date not just one but 2 more actors. Maybe Albert just didn't interpret the reasons well, or maybe Linda wasn't sure of what she wanted. We can't really tell for sure. But one of the other actors Linda later went on a romantic journey with was the reserved and austere Bill Murray. The other was the eccentric and electrifying Jim Carrey. Not much is known about Linda's romance with Bill Murray. The two of them were rumored to have dated and moved in together in the 80s. A secret relationship made sense at that point for Linda, since all her entanglements so far had been so thoroughly scrutinized by the media. However, secrecy did not turn out to be the secret ingredient that gave Linda a long-lasting relationship, because that relationship also didn't last very long. However, on the flip side, Linda's romance with Jim Carrey is much better known, The two of them met at one of his events in the 80s when the actor was going through his own Albert Brooks-like rise through the industry. Linda had already been a major star for many years at this point, and that night, she was out looking for a comic she would hire to open up her next tour. After the show, the two met, and Linda asked Jim if he'd like to go on the road with him. In response, Jim said, "No, but I would like to go out with you." Linda screwed up her face and said, "Okay." And so the relationship started just like that. Though Linda and Jim formed an instant connection, things didn't last. After 8 months, they amicably called it quits, remaining good friends afterward. After Linda's relationship with Carrie fell off, she moved up from actors to directors. She started dating Hollywood legend George Lucas, the eccentric billionaire infamous for creating Star Wars and transforming fan culture as we know it. Surprisingly, Linda's relationship with George was one of her longest ever romances. The two of them dated for 5 years and were rumored to have even gotten engaged. Unfortunately, things between them just didn't pan out. After exploring for a little while, Linda returned to her original dating pool of musicians. Linda dated hotshot R&B and soul singer Aaron Neville in 1989. Their romance was so steamy that they were referred to as the first couple of pop music. Just as with her previous relationships with singers, Linda and Aaron recorded a lot of songs together. These include the hits Don't Know Much and When Something Is Wrong with My Baby. And just like every one of her relationships so far, Linda ended it again a short time after it began in 1992. Now, you might think Linda couldn't quite make things work with men because she was going for men in the showbiz industry, but it's not like she didn't try to date men outside her profession. As a matter of fact, Linda's most popular relationship was with a politician. It was quite a publicized affair. Even though Linda met Democratic presidential candidate Jerry Brown in 1970, they did not start dating until much later. At the time, he was the governor of the state of California. By Linda's own admission, she and Jerry had a lot of fun together. But the dark side of their relationship was the sheer number of eyeballs it drew. Linda stated that dating Jerry was a relief, but deep down, she knew things would never work between them. Their lifestyles were way too different and demanded much of them. Even so, they made it fun while it lasted. While Linda and Jerry were together, they graced the cover of Newsweek magazine in April 1979. They also appeared on the covers of US Weekly and People magazine. It was a very exciting romance that the public just couldn't get enough of. Admittedly, it would have been quite remarkable to see Linda as the First Lady of America. If you've been following, you would have noticed that so far Linda has dated producers, singers, actors, directors, and politicians. Yet she couldn't make it work with any one of them, even though she'd once expressed her desire to get married and have children. Now the question is, was there a problem with her? And if so, what was it? In Linda's own words, what attracts her to men is their creativity. Seeing their brilliance lights a fire inside her. But after a few months of being together, reality sets in. This is when she realizes she just can't stand who they are as people. All in all, Linda just wasn't one for marriage. Not that there's anything wrong with that. All her past lovers speak highly of her and praise who she is as a person. Even though the relationships didn't last very long, who's to say they weren't valid? Regardless, the good thing is that even though Linda has never married, she started a family all on her own. In 1990, she adopted a girl, Mary. Then, in 1994, she adopted a boy, Carlos. Even without a man in her life, Linda found a way to make the family work. She just couldn't waste any more time waiting for Mr. Right. At 77, Linda Ronstadt's singing days are behind her, especially when one factors in her progressive supranuclear palsy diagnosis. Though she has completely lost her ability to sing, she still stands as an icon of the music industry, an icon whose crazy, untold sex life we can all learn lessons from. If you enjoyed this video, there's a good chance you'll also enjoy the one showing on your screen right now. Click, enjoy, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you on the next one.